Now let's talk about s'mores, okay? It's time for s'mores. So I look at this recipe because you're Rose Reisman and we're talking about s'mores.
Yeah.
And so I look at this cake and I think, how on earth is that healthy for me? I'm very excited that it's good for me.
Yeah, you're going to be shocked.
But please explain.
You're going to be shocked when I show you through all of this, because one is, I mean, dessert's never healthy. I'm not going to try to pretend that this is a whole grain cereal.
It's not an apple.
It's not an apple. But if you were to make this cake or have it in any restaurant, you'd be tripling the calories and the fat. And I'm going to show you why. And it has something to do with like the sugar that we talked about before and the fat and all of that.
Right.
So first of all, we are going to make a 2-layer chocolate cake.
S'mores chocolate layer cake.
Chocolate layer cake. All right. You're going to see the ingredients I'm using. All right, initially. So we've got some sugar in there. We're going to add 2 eggs. So far, so good.
Yeah.
We're going to add, all right, this is the thing. This is 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Normally, in any cake this size, you'd be using at least 3/4 cup to a cup of butter or shortening or oil. So we've cut it back, and you're going to see how I'm able to cut the oil back. All right, we've mixed that up. Now to this, we're going to add a little bit of low-fat mayonnaise. And what this does is give you like a devil's chocolate food cake, all right? But the light mayo goes a long way and gives you that creaminess that a butter might.
Okay, but it's better for you than butter. What makes it better for you than butter?
Oh my goodness. Well, when you have a light mayonnaise, it's about reduced by 50%, whereas butter is pure saturated.
Okay.
Okay.
Good to know.
Here we have low-fat sour cream.
Okay.
So again, this is equivalent to about 3% sour cream. Regular is 14%. So again, you're saving a lot. Now, here's the key. You normally would be putting in about 1/2 pound of chocolate to this to make it chocolatey. I'm going to fool your taste buds. I've got cocoa here. Cocoa is chocolate without the cocoa butter. So I'm eliminating all the saturated fat, but I'm going to give you some chocolate.
Okay.
I'm going to give you all of about 1/4 cup of chocolate that's just got a little hot water that I've melted in a microwave. If I could tell you what I did this morning with this, I'll tell you. We're going to throw this in.
4 a.m. this morning.
I had it in my oven in a bag, in a plastic bag, and you know what? It stayed warm because, you know, I couldn't get it warm.
I don't think you can really go wrong with melted chocolate, though.
That is how you get the cake to be so chocolatey.
Oh, and it smells very chocolatey. Okay, so the trick then is you've used mostly cocoa.
Cocoa, a little bit of chocolate, so that I fooled your taste
still
buds,
have
Tracy.
it.
You've had it and you go, what did she do to me? She did something to me, I don't know what. All right. Now we're going to add in about 1 cup of flour with a little baking powder, baking soda.
Okay.
Voila, that's your cake. That comes in at least at 50 to 60% less calories and fat than a traditional devil's food cake, just by using the light mayo, the light sour cream, and the other ingredients. So you mix that up. We're then going to pour it in to 2 8-inch round pans or square pans, whatever you want.
So you got the 2 layers.
Yeah, and we don't have to do that now, but you're going to bake that just until, now you've got to be careful, when you're making a light cake, you can overbake easily. So really pay attention to my instructions, or check your oven as well. I always get people emailing me and saying, that didn't work. Oh, my oven was broken. Okay.
So cityline.ca is where we put all of that information, by the way.
Excellent. So you're going to bake this for about 18 minutes until a texture in the middle comes out nice and clean.
Yes.
Okay. We've got 2 layers. Now we're going to have the fun. Are you
Okay.
ready? Oh, now we're going to do some more.
For fun.
Reminds me of when I used to be up at the cottage with the kids. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some chocolate again, but this time I'm making something called a ganache. And you know from some of your higher fat cooks that are on the show that you know that instead of adding
send them a copy of this.
Instead of adding cream or butter, I've added 2% evaporated milk.
Yes, much better for you.
And you know what, guys? Coffee in the morning. This is what I put in my coffee every morning.
And it's nice and sweet. Do you put any? So that's your sweetener
that's my
and
sweetener
your milk.
because milk's got a little sugar in it. This is all I put in my coffee.
Okay.
So I have now melted this and it stayed soft.
Can I do the honors? Are you gonna?
Oh, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
And we're gonna just put about half of that on. See, so I'm being a little stingy here. I'm not giving you big, thick layers, but just enough that every mouthful tastes chocolatey.
But
so
this is actually a good key with most things. With most things, you actually don't necessarily want the whole thing.
No.
You need a taste.
No. And you know when you go in for devil's food chocolate cake, there's this much icing on top, this much in the middle.
Right.
All right, and we can do it over the sides, whatever you'd like. Okay,
that's
now
enough.
here's the fun.
I just can't stop.
Marshmallow has no fat,
Stop.
but there is sugar in here. But again, this cake is going to serve about 12 or 14 slices.
Is that a special kind of low anything
No, because there's no
marshmallow?
fat. It's just sweet.
It's
not
just
bad.
sweet.
And it's better if you put this in the microwave for a little bit. But the nice thing, you see, that's where it gets a little tricky. But you pop it in the microwave. It will dissolve a little more.
Yeah.
And you're using all of 1 cup for the top layer and the bottom. So it's not bad. So you could even spread it on like this. Then we're going to sprinkle on just a few. We're not going to use that much. Just a couple, maybe a tablespoon of mini chocolate chips. And then we've taken our graham crumbs.
My hands went crazy.
Put them in a baggie and just. Oh yeah, she did put a lot on there.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right, and just put
follow her instructions.
Some crumbs on like this.
Yeah.
Isn't that, and no, I mean, there's nothing added to. There's no oil. Then we're going to take our second layer
and make a sandwich.
And voila, we're going to put this on like this.
And then do I put more on?
You got it. Put that on.
Oh, and
I'm going to breathe heavy on this to warm it up here.
Nice and hot.
Okay,
and it's
all
melting.
nice and warm. And then as you put this in the refrigerator later, the marshmallow starts to just soften up.
Yes.
Go over the sides a little bit like it's happening over there.
Right.
And when I created this is going to be, actually, it's a new book coming out next fall. This is one of my special treats because in the end, we all want to have a real treat. All right, so
well,
again,
it's not about the deprivation because you know what? If you always feel like you're being deprived,
right.
You
I'm
will
going to show you.
fall off that wagon so hard.
You will, and you can't. I'm just spraying it with a little bit of vegetable oil, but you're absolutely right.
Spread a bit.
People who tell me, Rose, I went on this diet, I cut out all the sugar. I cut out, no!
I've done it before. I've done them all, Rose.
You can do it, and every
I've done them all.
registered dietitians will tell you have to, but if you do, you'll end up binging.
Yeah, you will end up. So we'll put a little bit of this.
Yeah.
This is just,
she was good that
so
time.
fun.
Isn't that fun, though?
Yeah, this is great.
You got to make this cake.
Okay,
Voila,
so now
and
we
then you
have
can
our
refrigerate
final
it.
s'mores chocolate layer cake. And okay, you tell me what a proper.
All right, so
what's
this is a double
slice?
layer cake. Okay, so you get this much. No. You know, and I had frozen this. Was it still a little hard?
That's okay.
All right,
like this.
Yes, that's about it.
Okay.
And you know what? You
I'm actually
might think
good with
that's
that.
a little stingy, but you'll be shocked that if you eat well, again, have a proper dinner. Start off with a soup, a salad, a main course. You're not going to finish the whole cake.
Or you can just skip the dinner like I
Doesn't
sometimes
that
do
look
and just
yummy?
have this.
Look at that. Look how nice. So that looks like a traditional chocolate cake that you'd get in a restaurant,
scrumptious.
but at a quarter the calories.
Good stuff. Good
stuff,
tips.
eh?
All online, cityline.ca. Let's go to break. We've got more coming up. That looks great.